magnifique, Elite.
I would not tear a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Love a purse. Love makeup. 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 I don't like men no more.
Elite.
I don't like men no more. 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 I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I'm not gay. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I'm not gay.
Well. Good evening.
Hey! Oh my goodness!
Hey. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
How your mama doing?
She fine. How you?
She all right. She
All right,
She
okay, all right, cool.
Welcome to the BGKH show with Dominion and Epic.
Yes.
And as you can see, we have a special guest.
a
on our
very,
show.
a
We have
very special
very
guest.
special
Very,
guest.
very
special guest on our show tonight. We have the incomparable international DJ, Hands of Death, Hands of Life. Give it up for Vaughn and Laura, please.
Yes,
Hi,
that was his
everybody.
song that we were just listening to. Women's.
I don't like the women's anymore.
Women's shouting.
I like purses.
Yes,
I like,
he said he don't get on hard for men's no more. He gets on hard for vaginas.
Ooh.
That's exactly how he
Well,
said
okay,
it. That is
well,
exactly
I mean,
how he said it.
and I mean,
Because
for the-
as any normal heterosexual would say, I get on hard for vaginas.
Okay.
Yes.
Plurals.
Yes.
Okay. Plurals.
Vaginas.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, but that's actually a good segue into what the BGK.
Well, first of all, who are you?
So I'm sorry. Welcome to the BGKH show
Yes.
with Dominion and with Epic.
Yes.
So let's be clear about that.
And Vaughn.
And Vaughn is our special guest. Yes.
This is episode 52.
This is episode 52.
52.
So you're probably wondering, as you probably always do,
Yes.
what does the BGKH actually stand for?
Yes.
So the B stands for
The blacks.
yes, honey, Charles, the blacks, honey. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm going.
Right, what was that?
I'm going into the G.
I mean, some blacks are like that, but
I'm going
okay.
into the G, which is for the gays, honey. Yes, honey, Charles. That's what the G stands for.
That's the case.
Yes,
Mask for mask.
That's the G.
I'm super
The
masculine. Super mask.
GEIGH. Right.
Super mask.
And then on top of that, just like our friend, well, I'm not gonna say he's our friend, but just like Mr. Caldwell says, he hits on hard, because he's kinky and he gets on hard for the vaginas.
Yes.
That's what he gets. But I mean, that's what makes him kinky.
I guess that's his kink.
That's his kink.
Vaginas.
Is the vaginas. He gets on hard for the
And
vaginas.
unusually large bow ties. Yes.
So we're gonna say all that, but all of that, even though he gets on hard for the vaginas and the
Yes.
the bubble shot, and all that good stuff. We still going to include him in this grouping here, but that makes us all human. So
Yes.
yes.
So
So I'm excited.
I'm excited for a number of reasons. I have had a wonderful week, and we got a special guest, and we got a lot to get into. So why don't you start by telling us how your week was?
So listen, my week was okay. I had a great week. It was very uneventful. I got some rest.
That is the best.
Yeah, that was the best thing, and it was so unexpected and so needed at the same time.
Yes.
And I'm sure everybody can attest to this, but when you, for me, I woke up, a couple Saturdays, and I had nothing to do.
Yes.
Which is amazing. I was like, "Are you what?" And I almost panicked because I was like, "I don't have to be nowhere to do nothing." It's like, what?
Right. Look at my schedule.
Right.
I know I got somewhere to be.
Had a meeting this weekend. Was able to hang out with the brothers, and we were able to go see Little and check that out. So I got to hang with
And you know what else y'all did?
Left you.
What was that?
Y'all were out just enjoying yourself, gallivanting, and having big fun
The wretched.
at the Wawa
So let's be clear.
without me.
You were off gallivanting and trolloping up in New York City, up in the Big Apple. How many bites did you take out of the apple? Exactly.
Several.
Exactly. So yes, we went on down to the Wawas and we had a ball at the Wawas. Wawa is like,
I was not even aware that there were Wawas.
I didn't know
knew
it
that there was
either.
the Wawa out
Listen.
on Ritchie Marlboro Road, but there are 2 Wawas in the city limits.
listen, that Wawa downtown. Thank you, Spectre, and thank you, Deviant, for showing me what this Wawa is. It was everything. I walked in like the lights came up. It was like all cloudy and smoke and stuff. It was like, music was playing, and I was like, what is this place? I am home. Like it was. Listen, it was everything. So I appreciate going to the Wawa.
Well, God bless your ministry.
Yeah, but anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. Had a great time hanging out with the bros, and I had a great time. We did a whole bunch of stuff. With lots of fun comes some bad stuff, and so I had some messages and some stuff from some loved ones that I had to deal with, and they're still dealing with. So my heart goes out to them, and I'll talk about that another time. But other than that, it was a good week. It was a good week.
Good.
And yours?
Well, so
we have another.
I know.
person.
I'm going to make
check in with him because your laundry list is usually long.
I lead a fascinating life. So I had a job.
All of this is recorded. All of this is being recorded. Thank you so much.
I had a job interview today.
Good.
So it went really well. So he don't watch the show. So I walked in. I was like, "Ooh, you're a fat bitch too." So that's good. Because sometimes, listen, once you get to a certain age, because when I was younger, I never used to think about it. I never thought about it at all. But, 48 years old, you start to get into the range where the person interviewing you could be your age. They could be a little older or they could be younger. So he was around my age and he was significantly fatter than me. Not that I'm not even saying that like as a read, but I'm just like, that was just something I didn't have to worry about. You don't want to be like, here come this fat bitch. What she want with a job? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is my own sort of thing in my head.
On so many different levels.
I know.
This is what I surround myself with.
So while I was in New York, my coworker texted me. He's like, I don't want you to want this to hit your blind side, but they fired Ed, and I was like, really? Oh no!
Concerned. I'm sorry. Take 2.
Really? No. No, you mean the person?
Right, exactly.
You mean the person that never does well at their job? They finally let her go, and this is how they let her go. And then they let her go on a day that she took off too, because her uncle died. No, his grandfather died, but maybe one of his grandfathers died, but he always got somebody dying in his family. I'm just saying. There's a lot of death in his family. There's a lot going on in his family, and he wasn't good at his job, and that's about that. So, and he wasn't fat at all, but he's tall. He's like 6'4", like 250 pounds. And he always seemed pissed off and mean. And, you know, I'm not scared of other Negroes as a rule, but I was always like, I don't really, because like we work in a small cubicle. There's like 3 of us in the size of this desk. And there were a couple of times he's like, well, what the fuck is wrong? And I was like, dude. I was like, hold on.
Do not think
What?
I won't stab you in your eye, please.
Don't. I will stab you in the eye and then hurtle over this cubicle and run and get the police real quick. Bitch.
Clown.
So they told her ass. So she was like, okay, so how to return my cat card? She was like, just mail it. Don't come on the premises.
Don't come back now, you hear?
Well, I listen because there is a well-established thing of, you know, hoes getting fired and then wanting to come back and shoot up the place. So I was like, all right, so that makes sense.
That's true.
So, next Wednesday, April 22nd through the 26th. You know, I'm not gonna call you a fat bitch, but you know they got fat bitch. Krispy Kreme is having lemon glazed donuts.
Not so much. Now, I'm here for Krispy Kreme.
Welcome to the BGKH show with Dominion
listen,
and Vaughn.
But listen, I'm here for a hot Krispy Kreme. Let me be clear. But the lemon, not so much.
It's the same glaze, just but with lemon juice in it.
Okay, then I'm here for it.
Okay.
I'm
yes,
here for that.
yeah. So
I'm
it's
here
just
for that.
lemon
Okay,
glazed
all right,
donuts.
all right, okay,
So
I'm
we
here
will
for
be
that.
having lemon glazed
I'm
donuts.
here for
So the trip to New York. So I saw Amazing Grace.
Aretha.
What is that?
So it is.
What?
Well, he knows
know
what.
it.
What? What's
How
like?
was it for you?
Oh.
I'm not saying I know what it is.
No.
So
Okay, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen. Okay, go ahead.
right. So the
Ooh, yeah.
so they made a film of the concert, but it was never released because of technical difficulties. The film.
But wasn't her family? Didn't her family have some nonsense to do with that as well?
No.
Like, weren't they? Didn't they have some? Okay.
It was never finished because the quality of the film was just terrible.
Okay.
And Aretha wasn't necessarily super jazzed about the quality of the film.
Okay.
But after her death, her family was like, might as well. And Spike Lee was the executive producer of it, but it was really just the film. And, you know, with a few words over top of it, so they didn't add a lot to it. But watching them do that was fun. And then, you know, watching James Cleveland, and I was like, he probably was fucking some little boy right after this. You know, so that was what we went to the hot pot spot, and I had
Right. I was like,
peace be booty be still.
because
Because I was looking at him, and I was like, somebody was all up in that too. And I was like,
God no.
and, you know, and that church. Oh, let me tell you how sweaty it was in that church. Listen,
Yeah.
you know, I love Aretha, but when I tell you, sweat was pouring down her and
looked like they was
James
greasy for
Cleveland
like 4 years.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! I was and everybody else in the church looked all sweaty. And then let me tell you, so Clara Ward came day two. Let me tell you how big her beehive was. And so let me tell you, so she thought, so here's what she didn't come, it was filmed over 2 days. So the first day she didn't show up. The second day she showed up like 20 minutes into it, and they had like stopped production or whatever. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome the first lady of gospel music, Miss Clara Ward. And everybody was like, please hurry up and sit down so Aretha can get back to singing. And she came in and she was like, hi. And she noticed everybody wasn't really feeling her. Let me tell you, her face was like, bitches. So she sat in the front row with a stank on her face for a good hour. But then Aretha, she got into that Amazing Grace, and you just couldn't stay funky, you know, in the middle of all of that. So that was wonderful. We went to the hot pot spot. And I had the hot pots, and you know my slave, you know, he'll eat something, he'll be like, this ketchup is spicy. As a man, everything is spicy to him. He don't really, you know. So hot pots with actual spicy food didn't work for him, but he liked the desserts. So we went to the Eagle, that was cute. The Oculus, which is the transportation center at the World Trade Center, is like this white skeletal thing.
What is that? Like, I'm trying to.
The structure.
It's beautiful.
The structure.
That's
very
where Nikki was,
futuristic.
right?
It,
That's where Nikki was, right? When she performed for.
It could be.
I don't know.
I believe it's where she performed.
But it's right at the World Trade Center. It's the transportation hub. It doesn't look like a lot, but it goes down like 3 levels, and it just replaced the transportation hub that was there. So like 5 or 6 lines come there, and the path and everything. So what you see is only like a third, because it goes down like 4 or 5 stories.
Okay.
And then it's like 3-4 football fields, and it's a mall and everything. So that was beautiful. And our hotel, we stayed at the Millennium Hilton right across from it. And let me tell you how these girls next door was turning it the fuck up. And they were smoking weed and everything. I know they got that bill, and they were like $500 for smoking in a fancy hotel. So
Yeah.
then we went to there's another Bar Bacon. And the owner told me to tell you hello. She remembered all of us, and we had a really good time.
I was just looking at that picture.
I got
the other
drink
day on
tickets
Facebook.
for when we go back the next time. So
Folsom? Or you going back before that?
Of course, for Folsom. And we're going to go to the new location, because across the street from that is a place called Gothic Renaissance, where they sell kilts and corsets and like real corsets. Not like 2 corsets. They got like a whole wall full of corsets, and the slave bought a new corset. And then next door is a Halloween shop. And I ain't talking about, little Party City ×3. This is like a year-round Halloween shop where you can go.
I guess you get clown white.
You can go get deep into it. We were in there for like a good 2 hours just in the Halloween store.
So how much did you buy? Right. That's the part he's not putting out there. Listen. And then I'm gonna get the call, because he'll be like, "Listen, bitch, I got this thing. I'm just trying to figure out, because I got like, when I finally come over.
Now that I understand how E6 looks,
right?
So I'm about to do the E6, because my house still smells like that shit. So I'm about to do it outside.
E6000, get your life together.
Right. It it'll look wonderful. I think. So the base is giving you Akasha, Queen of the Damned. That's the base. The base piece. Okay. So we're going to go from there. So we're going to start there. All right. So that's that. And then, so when I got back home, are we talking about Game of Thrones at all?
Well, no.
So I will only.
So we can.
The only thing I will say about Game of Thrones is that when they were riding up, and how they were shook at the sight of black people, they were like, "Ooh, chocolate!" But I don't even know they had chocolate. But when they were looking at them like, we've never seen people like this before. So that was hilarious to me, and that's all I got.
Lord have mercy. Well, listen, that was a lot, and that was. But again, there's some other stuff I forgot as well, but that's okay.
Yeah, we got a special guest we want to get to.
So, how was your week? Listen, for those of you that don't know, he's always. I tease him all the time, because he's always flying off to Abu Dhabi and Cairo, and
where were you this week?
Like
I was here this week, but I just came back from New York.
Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
So it was good though.
Yes,
you had a function.
Played for House of Yes with Queen Beat. That was Wednesday. And so I came back here and I played Friday night.
Okay.
I don't remember where.
I'm gonna need you to get your days and your nights together.
I'm really trying to do that. Friday night was, I cannot even remember, but Sunday was U Street Music Hall, which was great. That you didn't go to.
So listen. So let me be clear. He invited. This was New Year's Eve.
Always.
This was New Year's, and he does.
Oh, you had a party on New Year's Eve?
And I was at his house.
Yeah, I always.
You were going across town.
Right, because I was
I
at his house, and I was
New Year's
like,
Eve function.
I was like, okay. So when he called me, I was like, I'll come. I got to be there. And then I was
okay.
like, this ain't gonna work, because I was like, there's no way I can get from Southeast over to U Street, and then I was like, no parking. I gotta catch an Uber, and it's a New Year's Eve, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. I was, and I'm drunk too, so that wasn't gonna work. So
yeah, because I make a cider that
that cider was
cider.
Cider is only one of 15 ingredients. I mean, I didn't know you then, but now you're on the list.
I mean, but
so
Yes.
he has a habit
yes, he does.
of doing this. And I'll meet a friend of his, and you'll be like, "Oh, so y'all had a pool party?"
Yeah.
Okay.
This one will tell on him. The brother. You met the brother?
James.
I have not met Milan.
Yes, you've met James.
Yes. Yes.
He'll tell
You've
him.
met James.
Yes. So, but now
So
you know.
anyway-
now you know. Now you know
Anyway,
about
now
this.
that I've been just on trial and been persecuted here, so Vaughn had a good week. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
yes,
week.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
So Game of Thrones. Are you a Game of Thrones watcher?
I am not. But I need to be because I love dragons and Godzilla and all that kind of stuff.
So listen, I've been tasked with trying to catch up with Game of Thrones because it seems like everybody in America is watching Game of Thrones, and so it's a lot to get into, and I'm trying to binge watch it. So the first 6 episodes of the first season, I think I slept more than I actually watched until I actually went back to try because it was very it dragged to me. But in that 6th episode, when it picked up. Now, it got a little slow, somewhere around the middle of the 3rd season for me. But then we got to that the red wedding. Mm-hmm. Now, you're talking about dragons and Game of Thrones and all that. So I'm thinking it's going to be this mystical dragon thing with these powers because, Khaleesi is one of the characters, or I'm sorry,
Daenerys
Targaryen. She's the Khaleesi of this particular. I'm thinking it's going to be this wonderful spectacle and visual.
That wasn't even about her.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking this is going to be. That's not what this was. So of course I'm looking at this episode like
A bunch of people got killed.
I was like, well, that. Now
It was shocking.
It was treacherous what happened. But
It's
so I'm not
less
gonna talk-
treacherous
yeah.
because you've
Everybody
all had to
around
build
me-
up to it.
Yeah, they told me what the hell was going to happen.
But
Not-
if you didn't know, even when, because I watched it later than it happened, like years later, but it wasn't like this build up around it. So like when I saw it, I was sitting there like, God damn.
yeah, it was.
I mean,
rough.
it was vicious.
It was treacherous.
I mean, a pregnant woman got stabbed in the belly.
He may have wanted to watch it.
That's not going to stop me from watching.
Okay, well, yeah, it was.
So, you know when Joffrey got killed, or did you got to that yet?
Was that
The,
after the wedding?
the purple wedding.
No, I'm
at
not
his
there.
wedding.
I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm still at that.
Oh yeah, the red wedding
at the
happens
red
before
wedding.
that.
So, yeah,
So,
at the red wedding.
so-
So I mean, so again, I'm trying to get caught
It's
up
a
on
lot.
that. But for me, like it's a great show.
Yes.
But it's there are moments when it's very very slow for me, so I kind of don't focus. So then, while I was trying to binge watch, I actually tuned in and saw Netflix had the new episode of Sabrina, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Do you watch that?
I've watched a couple of those. And
Listen.
That's evil.
So, if you're in the first season, that was dark, but this second season is dark as hell. Like I felt like I was in a room with like Satan worshipers, and they were chanting. Like that's how dark it got to me. And there was some symbolism and some visuals that I felt a little uncomfortable with. And I was like, well, what the? But I watched the whole season in one day. It was it grabbed me just like that, and I was like, okay. So I'm a little, but listen, for those of you that are not into it, please check it out because it's amazing.
there's
So-
a cute anthology series that I watched because Azamek did the driving. It's nice having a slave 'cause you can just sit there and be like, this is a lovely ride. Because normally, whenever we go somewhere, who's driving?
You start off first driving.
Right.
So, like for instance, with Atlanta,
Like when we went to Atlanta, but
yeah.
Atlanta's a little different
Yeah.
because I trust you hoes.
But at 3:00 in the morning, I was like, he's like, drive. I was like, bitch, yeah, okay, all right.
Right. That's how they
was.
do.
Yeah, I
That's
was.
how they do. Because as soon as they get in a car with me, these hoes be like, okay, 5 minutes. We be like, listen, we
okay.
like, I like women's. And then 5 minutes later, like,
Snoring and farting going on.
and
in the
me,
backseat.
meanwhile, I'm like,
But he's moving though. He is moving. I think we probably get to like Virginia or like Richmond, North Carolina.
North Carolina. We get, because, our first waypoint is that Cracker Barrel so we can have breakfast.
Right. So we wake up for breakfast. So once we go
We're
get our
creatures
breakfast.
of habit.
Once we get our breakfast, then he gets back in the car in the front seat. And when I say knockout,
Right, bitch. I was like, listen, because we get up, because we want to be in Atlanta, what we used to, so we can get there in enough time to go to happy hour at the Daiquiri Factory. God rest her soul. God rest her soul.
and so he got to go to the Daiquiri Factory before it closed.
Oh.
I did not. So y'all go ahead and y'all have your moment.
So we try to get, we want to get there. So we leave at 2:00 in the morning. So always like, I'm gonna drive the first leg. Once we get to Petersburg, Virginia, we're gonna get to that Cracker Barrel. It's gonna be about 6:00 in the morning. And then after I have my eggs and my hash brown casserole and everything, I'm good. So I need to take a nap. So somebody else need to drive. So that's the arrangement.
Right.
So anyway, so yes.
Well, yeah.
Oh, so anyway, what?
There's a spot in Pittsburgh called the Rusty Nail. Ooh, when I tell you it is like nothing you have ever had in your life.
This is food.
Yes, God. Yes, God.
So
yes,
how
God.
how come every time we go to Cleveland we don't go there?
we can stop at the Rusty Nail on because it's only open on Saturdays and Sundays.
So then we'll probably have to stop on the way back.
Yes, we have to stop on the way back. But it is unlike. Listen,
Unbelievable.
he came up for and did a function for us, and then I was like, "Come on, I'll take you down the street," because I lived up the street from the place, and I was like, "Let's go on down there." I was like, "You gonna love it?" He's like, "It's just breakfast. It's just." When they brought the plates out with all the damn
Do they have
food
breakfast
and the
all
bacon-
day?
I used to go for brunch, so I don't even know if they actually serve it all day. And I
'Cause
think
we
it's
got
only
brunch to do.
But it was, listen, it's amazing. So it's definitely.
So we'll add it to the list for
It's
some point.
amazing. It's definitely amazing. So we talk about that one all the time. So yeah, I need to go back because I need to go. I ain't been in a minute.
So yeah, we getting way late on the show.
Right, okay.
So I was saying is that while he was driving, he turned me on to this show on Netflix called Love, Death, and Robots. It's like a little anthology series. Some of them, they're all like animation, little short clips. Like the shortest one is like 6 minutes.
Okay.
Some of them like 20 minutes, and all of them have something to do with robots.
Okay.
And love and death. So they're really interesting. So they're like little vignettes. So you should check that out too.
Okay, Love, Death, and Robots. I can look at that. So listen, let me just jump right into this. So for those of you that, like I said, don't know, Vaughn is a DJ. He's one of the best in the business. When you start talking about house music and the ballroom scene, you talk about club kids. Like this is where this is one of the pioneers. This is one of the people that are doing it now. There are people that were before him. There are going to be people that are after him. But right now, this fucker is doing it. So, but just a couple questions for that I wanted to just jump into and ask in case people didn't know who you are, because I'm feeling like in my 47-year-old self, there are some of these younger people that don't necessarily know and appreciate as much as we do
Right.
this age bracket, house music and the ballroom scene and stuff of that nature. So, how long have you? Because let's be clear. Not only is he a DJ, he's a producer, he was a dancer, he has hands of death because he will hit the floor and will still tear it up. Listen, this was us back in the day, back to back, not even back to back because that was, but just battling, like just having a great time up in tracks. But anyway, I'm
You ever
digressing.
pull a blade on you?
No. He was one of the first people that I ever battled in tracks when I came back from Italy.
Did you have the blade and you just didn't use it?
Now we know about the blade.
You ain't got to tell all my business. And at that time, no, I didn't have a blade.
You kept the little razor blade in
didn't
your
have a blade
cheek,
at that time.
like the girls in the Bronx.
I didn't.
Like the Puerto Rican girls in the Bronx.
So listen, so Vaughn, tell it. So please tell the children. So where are you from? Where are you from originally?
Notice he didn't deny it. That was me.
We're gonna try to stay focused. So
Okay.
So where are you from? Where
I'm from New York City. I was born in Puerto Rico. Moved to New York. Did an exchange student in Italy. Came to DC. Went back to Italy, and now I'm back.
All right.
Okay. So when did you first start like just dancing, hanging out in the ballroom scene? Like
I was 12 years old.
12.
12 years old in New York City. Sound Factory, breaking circles on a straight night. And one night I went to the Sound Factory on a Saturday, which was not a straight night.
Complete
And
flip of the script.
It's what I wanted, and just noticed that they did the same things they did on Fridays in house clubs. And then one night I'm watching dancers, and all of a sudden I see voguing for the first time. Like, they've been voguing the whole time I was there, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
And when I looked, everybody was doing it. I was like, you could do anything with this dance. And
You was hooked.
yeah.
You was hooked. So when did you start becoming a fixture on the ballroom scene? Like when did you become a part of the House of Allure?
I started to, I used to be around a lot of people in a lot of houses. I met a lot of them when I was very, very young. Andre Mizrahi, Tony Revlon, and all of them. And then I went to Italy, but when I came back to the Octagon in New York, I didn't know anyone. So I would just be there by myself, and I always practiced by myself in Italy, but when I came back, I just started to be on the floor by myself, much like when you and I met. And I started to spin, and you guys came over, and we started to battle, and that's what happened in New York. And so when I finally came back here to D.C. in 1999, I went to Tracks, and that's when I met you, and that's when I started to really meet everyone in the ballroom scene.
Okay. All right. So DJ Cedric at the time was one of those people that was spinning music and making me lose my mind as well.
He is still.
And he still, yes, he still is.
still.
He is known as the district house mother. And for those of you that know, he has a big presence. And I think at the time that we were hanging out, we got to see him. He would always come through with these really fancy costumes on, these wide hats, and Cuban Pete was like this one look that he gave me that he just gave me like one night. So there was a lot of characters, Miss Cuckoo Bird, just a lot of different things going on in tracks. Like it was a lot of stuff going on.
Okio.
Yes, but again, it was this love for the music, and then on one side it was the house music, on the other side it was the go-go music, of course. And then somehow we'd run from the go-go side back over to the big side and the kids would start scuzzing out. So I mean, how did some of this music affect what you do now and how you?
Well, I was a New York house head, and anything that I followed was Junior Vasquez.
Okay.
Junior Vasquez was the man for me, and I was too young to come to DC by myself or with people. You know, my aunt would not allow me to come down here.
Okay.
With people. When I got here, when I was in Virginia, and I came up to DC for the first time, I was hooked. I went to tracks, and it blew my mind. The music, the people, just all that whole circus going on all day. The volleyball courts and all that stuff.
Yes, I forgot about the volleyball.
The drinks, the food, and then the club. And it changed my whole thought process on music. It was so wild and crazy, and watching them scuzz and everything else was ridiculous. And Cedric, who was my mentor, we got to a point around 1990. But I want to say 1990. No, I'm sorry. It would be about 2000, not 2000, I'm sorry, 1998, when Work came out. Work, What You're Waiting For, and all that stuff. The music kind of lulled down. It was more vocal. And I asked Cedric, I said, what happened to all those beats and stuff? Why don't they make those songs anymore? He said, well, I don't know. They're just not making those tracks anymore. And I said, I'll make them. And that's when I began to make tracks. But when I started to make them, it was only to give to my friends. I was giving out cassettes and CDs only to my friends, but it would have a little skit in the beginning of it. And just something that I did just to be funny.
And listen, every CD that I ever got from had a fly-ass cover.
Yes, it had that.
That was some ninja woman with this black and white blank cut, cartoons, like they was everything. And the music was just phenomenal. So I would like lose my mind when I get these CDs. And if you are not familiar with his music, one of the things that's consistent with his music for me is that the beats are always banging. There's always a repetitive, there's some chanting, and there's a voice that comes over that that makes some sort of it's almost whimsical with something. Because I'll tell you one of my favorite tracks, and we were laughing about this, about that damn. The damn raccoon.
I said, don't you?
So we were having a conversation one day about the high and about music, and we were talking about driving
around this the Parkway.
Yes.
And I was trying to go home very quickly because I had to go to the club, and I came from M Street, Georgetown, and I came around, and it took me by the Parkway. I said, I don't want to go to Parkway, but it was supposed to be faster. And I'm zooming and zooming. I come around the corner, and there is a raccoon coming, and he's just walking in the middle of the lane. I said, no. And it went boom. And I killed it. I know I killed it. And then I went home and made this song with a raccoon.
We had this conversation. I was like, what? The raccoon high? I was like, what?
But it was a cool song.
It was again, everything. Phenomenal.
Where can we hear all of these?
Oh, well, it's a large archive of mine that I did not post online, but I'm going to use Bandcamp and push all the older tracks up.
Oh, we'll have to.
But all my songs, there are a lot of my
stay
songs
on
out
top
there.
of that.
Yes, they're everywhere.
Do you have other new material that's coming out? Or
Yes.
I know you constantly do stuff.
Yes, I have a new album, maybe, and like 3 EPs getting ready to drop. I just delivered them yesterday.
Any names you could drop other than your own? Maybe. Possibly.
Robert Owens, Mr. I'll Be Your Friend. I did a song for him.
You remember? I'll be.
We just did well, you know about Lenny Kravitz.
No, we do not.
Yes, and it took him to #1.
Okay.
Me, David Guetta, Robbie Rivera, we were on a package. It was like, God knows how many remixes, but we went to #1. And that was his first Billboard dance hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to be in that package with those people.
Yes.
Yes, God.
Because the names are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
They were like, you want to do one? I was like, sure. The new one, It's Over For Me. They asked me to remix it, which I just finished. So you'll hear that.
Any more television appearances? Because we saw you
Yes,
in Peru and
There's more music I submitted for Empire, Star, Hit the Floor, RuPaul again. And you'll probably be pleased to know that we're going to get the whole ballroom RuPaul thing together correctly.
oh Jesus! So I'm getting excited right now. I don't know about anybody else.
I'm a
'cause
little-
I'm kind of.
I'm a little tingly.
So, what's next for you? Like outside of the production, the remixes, the music, or is that still going to be going on? Like, is there anything else that you're going to be doing, or something that we can look forward to besides this stuff?
Well,
like, are you going to break out into films? And
well, we've been doing films. We've been doing.
did you want to have movies or guest hosts or anything like that?
Well, you guys will be around it, yeah, because you know we just did the whole thing, and I love the party that we did too. That was great.
This was our DJ for Code Red.
And
Yes.
he
He
I had
turned it
Yes, he
out,
did.
and next
I had
time we
fun.
will have
And
a
got
good
the-
old long.
Got the technical difficulties together at the place. Let's be
Right.
clear.
He was like, "Hey, can we get the sound right? Can we get the sound right,
Thank you.
That,
Mr. Soundman?
I
Mr.
only do
Soundman."
that when people put on a facade for people. Like I said, you know,
Right, he was trying to act like
I have
he was.
nothing against him, but I came up there and sat my happy ass down. Sorry, sat my happy ass down by the DJ booth, and he ran up there and did everything, knowing I was there, and said nothing. And then he came back and said, "Oh, you're the DJ." I was like, "Well, yeah." I said, "But you have this." Well, he didn't tell me anything. I said, "Okay, just bring something to this."
So
And then-
part of that is because a lot of organizations who use that space use the term DJ loosely.
I get it.
So
And
you know,
I'm-
when DJ Vaughn Allure shows up, this is a DJ who's worked with Lenny Kravitz and Robert Owens and other people. DJ, it was like, girl, I got a playlist on my iPad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, he brought his stuff out, and he told you, I'm where I need to be. I'm like,
Right.
what are you talking about? I said it where you want it.
Right.
We're gonna change off of that. So
Exactly.
yeah, I
Right.
can't. But
Yes.
anyway, so you are huge in Italy.
You're
International.
huge
You are
in
huge
Italy.
in Italy.
Italy is my second home.
Doing any more stuff there? Like
Yes, just they just asked for my other hometown in Italy to have a ball because they now, if you run the page, I used to house step over there, used to dance, but would not vogue, flat out, you know, trying to be cool, you know, trying to be cool, you
yeah.
know. But I would incorporate spins and dips into my dancing. Okay. So now, fast forward, everybody's seeing this. You were doing that. I'm like, oh, now you get, oh, that's who you are. Oh my God, it's you. Now the wave has swept back internationally.
Gotcha.
And we're having these massive balls overseas, and they
You need
want
someone to carry your luggage?
listen, I have no problem.
No, bitch. I was trying to elbow you out of the frame.
But I'm in the middle.
you still fall.
So
Oh, look,
Yeah.
a moderately attractive man.
where?
It's a good team.
Not on the
Yes.
short bus.
What?
So
Rewind that.
we're not gonna rewind. We just get.
That was so mean. It's accurate, but it's mean.
Anyway, so let's move along. Let's
Right.
get to the next thing. So there's a couple things that
Our time is short, so we
Well,
go.
yeah,
let's microblading with Dash over there. Tiger Woods, good for him. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you talk Game of Thrones, talk about all that.
We don't. I mean, we sure, but we ain't. You know, we gotta.
I mean, we got a lot to talk about with
Okay, well.
with Drag Race.
Well,
All
yeah,
right,
we do,
all
but
right.
okay.
So, all right,
But
so
no, we can jump right into it.
all right. So Tiger Woods. All right, yay.
Yay.
I mean,
finally.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a rough, couple of 5 or 6 years or whatever.
Alive.
Listen, I don't. So here's my thing. I don't want nobody to be black that don't want to be black.
Well,
So-
he's combination.
No, I don't want nobody to be black that
He's
don't want to be black.
combination.
People only say that shit when they when whatever it is that they look like they don't want to be.
He's combination.
Because if he looked white, he wouldn't have as much of a problem. It's only people that's mixed with black that's always talking about I'm biracial or I'm not whatever. Other people just like I'm black.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be black, I don't want him to be black.
Well, they sure looked
But
black when he wasn't
remember he
winning.
was cool
Right.
until till they found out he fucked over that white woman he was married to.
And
then
then
all
he
of a sudden, now look at this Negro screwing up.
And then what? And what was that?
He was looking pretty black then because the pictures they took.
Oh, yeah, he
were
was
all
looking-
dark, and there was no glam pictures.
Right, real
now
black.
he won. He got the green jacket.
I know, right?
And
He's
it
all
looked
like,
really, really polished.
And on top
we're
of
brothers.
Every color. Give me
Exactly.
a high five.
Exactly.
and now at 45 has the nerve to say he wants to try to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I guess.
I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm a little confused. But okay,
It's not so. Well, you can
talent
get,
is
listen,
great.
you can get
His
awards to
athleticism is
anybody who
great.
you want. I mean, that's fine.
But
But
really?
whatever.
Oh, okay. If you get a Tiger, congratulations to you. I don't know what the honor is
I mean,
coming
as
from
you know,
45 or-
a presidential medal of free. I mean, and that's people say that's his boy, which I don't necessarily know. They've golfed together, but I don't know that he has. You're fine. Just. Yeah, there you go. Just put it. Yeah, there you go. Just touch yourself.
Just play it off. It didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even notice. No one even noticed. So I didn't hear about this microblading incident. What happened?
Oh
here?
my gosh! So there was this young lady went. So microblading is this thing where they do these. They take a small blade or a tattoo needle and they're putting permanent eyebrows or permanent tattoos that look like eyebrows. In between your eyebrows to make them thicker. And if you have none, they kind of it's basically permanent tattooing. That's basically what it is. Well, this young lady is supposed to be done by a licensed microblading technician or certified technician. And this young lady went to go get her eyebrows done, and she was not a certified technician. And when she got finished, she looked as if, because the picture itself was hilarious, she looked as if she had 4 eyebrows, 2 up here, 2 down here. Poor thing. And the sad part is they're tattoos, so it takes a long time for them to wear off. I mean, she can probably go and try to have them removed or do that that tattoo removal thing, but that's still going to take some time. But she literally has like 4 eyebrows.
So what is the lesson from this?
The lesson from
Don't
this.
get no
Sharpie.
permanent facial surgery
Sharpie.
through a Groupon
And
voucher.
she did. She got it from a Groupon. From
She
her
used a
daughter.
Groupon
Yes,
voucher
she did.
for some permanent shit on their face. I mean, Groupon is cute for a little manicure or a pedicure or a spa
But it's
treatment.
microblading. I mean, she was going to get the microblading though. I'm just saying.
Okay, this is what you get.
I mean, listen, because she's combination.
I
I'm
guess.
just saying. So, but
I mean,
that
just
was-
draw that girl on. I mean, the tattoo. I mean, because
yeah.
here's the thing: the tattoo is. I mean, it's still not going to look like a natural eyebrow. So
actually, they do. If you see them done right, they do look really. They look really good because most women will then draw over top of them and kind of fill them in a little bit more.
So
they
can't
look
she
like-
just fill in the space between the 2 eyebrows, and then she got like a
Sharpie.
So then
thick,
she'd have eyebrows.
a big old thick Joan Crawford style eyebrow.
Like really?
Looking all surprised permanently.
Look like giving Frida count.
Right.
Okay. Anyway.
So Drag Race, Farm to
Consistent.
Runway.
What?
Did you watch? Did you watch Drag Race? Did you watch this episode?
I did not see that.
okay.
Okay.
I was going somewhere. Oh, Baltimore. That's what I did Friday.
You were
Oh.
Baltimore Friday. Okay.
The Peabody Experience.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a spoiler alert for this one, but so this episode was the Farm to Runway challenge.
Yes, I liked it.
So I liked it because it took me back to the original stuff or the earlier stuff where they had to like do the dumpster dives and the all this stuff. So it was creative.
Yeah, because
got
I
to see
mean,
their
you know, I
creativity.
guess anybody can look good when you done had. Well, your girl said she spent $18,000 on and having shit custom made. I was like, girl, if you have a bunch of shit custom made beforehand,
You better look
I mean,
good.
you better look good.
You
know,
spent $18,000. You better look good.
right? To me, I like it when they like. You must use the fabric wall and boobs for queens and these wigs
Listen.
and this garbage and
come
make
up
a
with
look out of it.
Listen, if Jailhouse Trade can transform and become a woman in jail with making some high heels out of milk cartons, then I'm gonna need you to be able to work a little bit more magic with some other materials.
Have
So
you seen
I'm just
that?
saying.
It's your ex-boyfriend.
He tried it. No, that was not my ex-boyfriend. But yes, I have seen that.
Current boyfriend?
No, that's not my current boyfriend. I don't even have a boyfriend. Matter of fact, this is my boyfriend, and he cheats on me sometimes with this one. I cheat on him with this one.
That was classy.
But I'm just saying, with a capital K.
That was so
With
classy.
a capital K. So anyway, back to the talent of them making their outfits.
Yes.
So some of the outfits that stood out for me. Well, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Before they even got to that, Miss Alyssa, I love
Alyssa's wig was flawless. I mean,
Alyssa Edwards.
it wasn't a single hair out of place.
But she gives you Texas pageant girl, and that's
Yeah.
just what she does. And it
It was wonderful.
But
I
she
loved
was
it.
reading the kids,
She was reading
the
the
shit
shit.
out of them, and I was dying. But it worked. But anyway, some of the looks. So Evie during her runway look to me was a standout. Like I thought that
Yes.
was phenomenal.
Evie
And she's
was deep in her feelings about how Silky said that she should go because she was not feeling well. And then, so
At the
when she
practice.
was with Alyssa, and she was like, send that home, bitch.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But listen, I got it. I understood where she was coming from.
Yes.
I did Silky. Okay, listen, I'm only bringing this up because they brought it up on the show. But Silky and that damn hair, like really, like Silky.
Right, you don't know how to do your
grown-ass
hair?
man, you don't know how to do your damn hair, and then you're doing drags. You mean tell me you can't do your hair? I don't understand that. Like I don't.
What is the point of getting a perm and all of that if you don't know how to do it?
I don't even think she had a perm.
That is permed hair because it's like sort of straight. So, I mean, her natural hair can't be that straight.
That hair when she comes out in the morning is not perm. Now that's when she get this
It's
stuff slicked
when
back
I
with
say
some
when
gel.
I say perm, meaning it was permed. I don't mean it's like a fresh perm. It's processed. So otherwise, I mean, because if you're, but my point is, if you don't know how to do your hair or whatever, and you are in drag, and you're not one of these drag queens that sort of uses their natural hair or whatever, then just have a short fro or be bald or something. Why even go through all that foolishness? It just goes back to what I said last week. Silky out of drag always looks homeless. She looks dirty and homeless out of
Silky
drag.
looks dirty. Why you say that?
Said, get into this ganache.
I guess. I mean, I don't see it for her.
Okay.
She needs some better foundation garments.
Well, yes. Or
Listen,
just some good old
what I tell you?
Just some good
I
old duct
have
tape.
been wearing a foundation garment every day of my life since I was 18 years old. So, they make foundation garments for every size.
Listen, I believe. Today I'm just running free. Yard Dogs is running free. Here we go.
Right. I do. Listen, don't it feel good?
like,
Sometimes you're
"Woo!"
like, you know what, bitch? I'm gonna just leave the house just with the t-shirt that I got on. Everything under here,
And wait.
just gonna be what you get.
And you fine with it until until you're in the moment and you're doing some sort of sexual activity and you just happen to look down. You're like, is everything moving? You're like, oh.
Or you be like,
Turn that light out. Click.
Right. Or you be like, girl, I'm just gonna run to Shoppers. We'll run to the grocery store real quick. We'll go to the grocery store. And then someone be like,
Hey.
hey, you be like, and then so like you doing a Claire Huxtable when she was pregnant, holding a box of produce in front of you.
Books all here. Like,
Right.
look, I get
So
it.
all right, so Sugar.
So I liked her intro for the final runway look when she came in with that like windswept look with her hair was to the side.
That was
So I liked
that
it. It
was
was
cute.
cute.
It was giving me a little bit of anime kind of whatever. I thought it was alright.
It was anime, right?
Anime, yes.
Anime.
Anime or anime?
Right.
Anime. Which you want to do? I liked Nina's look was cute, like I said. Silky's look was kind of raggedy, but around the cape to me. But I like the idea
Hey,
of it.
I can't remember what the fuck she had on.
So she had the burlap bag that was made into a skirt where she had the little beans glued on it.
Oh,
And
yes.
so the cape was good
that
up
scene
here.
to me, I was like, you sure you did all that by yourself? Because that was a very regular pattern to me.
Well, in her case, it's a basic skirt.
But I'm saying the point is that she took a piece of burlap and then sewed beans and shit on it. But I was looking at that pattern. I'm that bitch that will count and be like, bean, red, green, blue bean, green bean, red. I mean, it was like a very regular pattern. And I was like, she made all of that in overnight. I mean, it just didn't seem like it was. I was like, okay, girl, whatever. So
the little hat was cute and everything. It was.
I just can't get past that gunt.
So I'm gonna move on right along to Miss Vanjie. So Vanjie, yeah, Miss Vanjie.
I love me some
I love me
Vanjie,
some Vanjie, but I'm gonna just say no. I'm gonna just say no. I can't. I'm gonna say no.
I can't remember what she had on.
She had on that very deconstructed rope top and that half of a.
The
thing
back of
with
it was cute. The back top quarter of it was cute.
I don't think he improved.
I'm gonna say.
I guess I just like Vanjie, so I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
In fact, I was just having this conversation about her about how the problem with her is her torso is short, and so she has to wear things that elongate her torso, which is the reason for the corsets. And I get it, but this look.
I feel she was in my top 4. I just don't see it for her anymore.
Oh, okay. Not this look, but okay.
Just generally, because I had wanted her to go on.
I wanted her to
I
go
always
for it,
root for
yeah.
the underdog, and I just feel like she's doing so much better than what her first look from last season did, and she's a
Yes.
cute boy, and I just feel like
That's
she
the
does.
problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. If she was
yeah.
ugly, then I'd be like,
Yeah,
take
that's
your
the-
ugly ass on.
Yeah.
Get your old ugly ass.
But wait, thanks to that damn Spectre and Deviant, I keep hearing Vanjie saying, "Get them cookies, get them cookies." I can't get that out of my head.
So Raja has apparently been getting death threats.
Really?
Some of these drag race
people
girls
are-
take this shit
Isn't that-
real
It's
seriously.
bad.
I'm like even last year, I was mad that Shangela didn't win, but I wasn't.
She was robbed as far as
I mean, I wasn't mad at Trixie. I mean, I was like, girl, take your win. I mean, Trixie didn't do anything, it's not like she threw Shangela under the bus. And I wasn't mad at any of the other queens. This is like fun for me. It's just not that serious. But some of these girls take it real serious. I do not like Raja, let's just be clear. But I don't think that she deserved death threats. Because Raja got a shitty attitude. When Plastique was telling that story about how her family basically was like, why would a little boy want to do all of this? And she was crying and all.
Yeah.
That was like genuine. That wasn't
it
no
was.
like,
she
was like snotty, tears running down her face crying. And Raja
was like, why would you take the question and that doesn't answer the question. I think that's what she said. She said, well, how does that about you when she asked you something about the look or something?
Right. I was just like,
She was discounting her
journey.
Her journey, yeah.
Because it was about living in your truth and being bold and how your drag needs to reflect you living in your truth. And she was saying that she's Plastique. She just has this smile on her face because that's how she gets through the adversity of coming from this strict conservative Vietnamese family and that they don't get her or whatever. Is that she just has this fucking smile on her face. So even when they're talking shit about her, she just has this smile on her face. And that's how she's sort of gotten through life. And how Rue love old Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters sit on the couch and have a bitch crying moment. And she broke down. So she had a legitimate, I don't think she deserved to win though.
So I am I'm disagreeing with a lot of Rue's decisions this season. I don't know.
Right.
What
My comment was Plastique's look was meh. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was
terrible. But it was. I was like, okay. I thought Evie's look was fire. That's
I thought
personally.
Evie. Evie, I love Evie.
I like Evie. You know what I mean? But I thought it was gonna. I thought it was a better look.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Raja's pants was cute at first,
I didn't
like
even
you said,
notice the damn
until the hole
popped up.
Because she made a pair of pants out of burlap.
And they were fitted. They fit her really nice.
Yes.
But then with burlap, the problem is it's a fabric. It's gonna fall. Like it's not a stable.
It's not
fabric.
right. It's not.
You have
Yeah,
to- you
the
gotta line
weave
with
of
something.
it.
Yeah.
You'd have to
So
you'd
she
have,
wound
you'd
up
have to like have a panel
line-
behind
Exactly.
it
That's
to
exactly what
sew
you have to do.
into.
That's
Because
exactly
you can't literally just sew two pieces of burlap together because it's going to come apart. You'd have to sew something behind the burlap
hold
and
it.
then sew those two pieces
Together.
together through that joining fabric. And maybe you just don't have time to do all that in this challenge, but it was her comeuppance because she's forever talking shit. And I was like, girl, you can't keep talking shit being in the bottom.
But now the other part of that thing is because Raja and Akira wound up being in the final lip sync. I actually liked Akira's outfit.
With
I
them
thought it
big
was-
shoulder
I thought-
pads, I thought
It
she
was-
was
listen,
giving me.
it was
You know
very
what?
nice-
She was giving me
diet-
big business.
She was
giving me big
was
business.
like- yes, that was because I was thinking it was very 1980s Dynasty Diane Carroll. Like I don't
Yes.
sleep with my clothes or,
Or
in
in
my
them,
clothes,
right.
and I was like,
In the
okay,
room with my
See, right?
yeah. So
she's-
like it was that, but I liked the outfit though.
I liked it too.
But now the lip sync. First of all, I didn't think neither one of them were like that great.
No.
But I do believe that Raja's wasn't that great that she should have won. And for me, I checked out because this is my thing. Because listen,
It came off. It did not fall off.
it doesn't make a difference. If
can-
you are
Ooh,
going,
he's real
if you
mad
are
if the
going to
wig comes
perform,
off.
listen. If you're going to perform as a woman and give that illusion, do not let your hair fall off because the illusion is gone.
Yes.
Listen, I've learned from the best.
There you
Do
go.
not let that hair fall off because the moment that hair came off, and I'll give her points for it because she grabbed it and she kind of
She used it as
a prop
part of
and
the-
and
yeah.
that was cute. That worked. But your hair came off, girl. The illusion was gone for me.
Yeah.
I was but Akira, her lip sync to me. It was very old schoolish. She started like doing this hand air horn play thing, and
That was a little desperate.
it was
and-
very
Yeah, so I wasn't
just
feeling
like,
that.
but it was. But she won. I was like, all right. Fine. And she walked up stage like, "Ooh, thank you, Jesus!" Like she knew her ass
Right.
barely
That's
got by.
saved,
Like
yeah.
she
She
skin her
sailed,
teeth. She's like,
right.
"Thank you, bye, girl. See ya." So I get it, but I disagree with this decision. But if she don't come back for the All Stars, I don't see.
I don't-
I won't be upset.
Right. Brooklyn's look, I didn't. So she suffers from the. Who was it that was? You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're stunning.
Oh, the relying on the pretty.
Yeah, but see, in the Untucked, they were reading the
Yeah, I'm
queen
trying to-
because they were like, you never get any bad critiques, and you're like, yeah, they're always like, oh, maybe was it Valentina? Oh, Valentina,
Yes.
you're beautiful,
It's
you're
Valentina.
gorgeous, you're stunning,
it was
and I feel
Valentina.
like no taking away from Brooklyn's look, but I just didn't think her look this week was because the reveal was she did old Auntie Mame
Yes.
thing where the look was kind of basic denim in the front and she turned around and her ass was out.
She had a little-
and so like you remember in Auntie Mame where she had this basic black dress on for the funeral, then you turned around and it was purple and it was backless, which it's the 50s, you don't do that for a funeral. So I was like, okay, that was a cute reveal and everything, but the way they went in for it, I was like,
It was
eh.
cute.
I mean, it was cute, but it wasn't.
I actually probably would have liked that better than Plastique winning. Like as far as I'm concerned
Yeah.
for that outfit. But again, I still
Plastique
think
won
Evie-
because of the
emotional
journey
journey
and
and the breakthrough.
and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't all of that.
It
so.
wasn't, yeah. So it was, but that exit speech from Raja.
Listen, fuck that bitch. I'm over her. I
She
mean,
was like, it take a bad bitch from the ghetto to, and I was like,
Yeah,
well, bitch, what? Like,
right?
to
You're
do
not
what?
that bad.
What you
You're
doing?
not
You're
that
going home
bad.
early.
You're not that bad. You kept being in the bottom. And let's be clear, when you're in the bottom, that's because both of you all are terrible. And so just because you're slightly less terrible than the other person doesn't mean that you're good.
Right.
That's not what that means. And if you have to keep doing that, that means there's something wrong with the way that you're presenting yourself. If you do it once, I mean, anybody could fuck up one time, but this was the third and last time that she was,
Was this her
in
third time or her fourth time?
No, it was her third.
It's the third, okay.
Because he had mentioned that she had already done it twice.
Okay,
So,
alright.
whatever. And then just the attitude and the way that she was doing that. And she kept coming for Evie, and Evie was going to knock her teeth smooth down her throat
Listen.
with them bug eyes. So, she's like, all right, talk shit if you want to.
Yeah, it
Evie was like, whatever, bitch. Just
Yeah,
don't put
like-
your hands on me because I will fuck you up.
Yeah. But The choice of songs was even awful for me, you know. And I even forgot about that damn song by Sheena Easton Strut.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Slut Pop put it out.
Right. Like, I was like, what? Not, but whatever. Okay,
Right.
Rue, I get it. It's your show.
So she was still nice until Prince got a hold of her.
Well, but you know, she did, and he kind of
Then
turned her
Prince
out.
turned her,
Because My Sugar Walls, it was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. Like, what, girl?
Spend the night at where?
Exactly.
Oh, you're doing vagina?
Like, what? Like,
Right.
okay.
So before we go, we want to talk about two things. Our pledges, the pledges of Onyx Mid-Atlantic, are having their bar night this Saturday, April the 20th at the DC Eagle, 10 p.m.
Yep.
It's called Welcome to the Jungle. We're going to have some things. So there's several things that are going to be auctioning
Yeah.
off that's going to be cute. Onyx is also doing Onyx University at Black Pride 2019. That's Memorial Day weekend
Yes.
here in Washington, D.C. If you are in Cleveland, you can join Onyx at CLAW, which is Cleveland Leather Awareness Weekend, and Indigenous Peoples Day weekend. Join the entire Onyx family, Onyx Pearls, the men of Onyx, and all of our associates as we gather in Los Angeles for Blackout 24 on the Gold Coast.
Yes, in October. October 11th through the 13th.
10th through the 13th,
10th through
and then the
13th,
cruise
yes.
is 13th through the 20th.
Yes, 13th through the 20th.
So there's a lot going on. Oh, and also, that's I read that, so now that's not for everyone. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The
So,
Baltimore Eagle, apparently that's for clubs only.
oh, yeah. Okay.
So the BGKH show streams live on Wednesdays on www.voxwave.com from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern and 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are available on YouTube every Friday. Search for Vox Power 373 and look for the BGKH show with Dominion and Epic. You can also... they finally set it up for playlists for each show. So you can.
Okay.
That was the link that I sent today.
Yes.
It was if you that link links you to the playlist specifically for this show.
And you can go through all of them.
So, and don't forget, we can host a live studio audience, and you can call in also at 240-719-2560. One more time. 240-719-2560. And we'll start with our special guest. Vaughn, how can the kids get in contact with you on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Just say hey. No. No, just look up my name, Vaughn Allure, VJUANALLURE. One word. Twitter, IG, Facebook, everywhere.
Excellent.
Okay. All right.
And Epic, how can they get in contact with
So
you?
you can reach me on Facebook. You can look for Epic Onyx. You can also find me on Instagram at I am Epic Onyx, and on Twitter you can reach me at Epic Onyx1. And what about you?
At Dom Onyx on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/dominion.onyx, and my website, www.domonyx.com.
So this has been a great show. This is
Jam-packed.
It's been jam-packed. It has been our first
In-house
guest. So we
Yes.
are very happy to have Vaughn Allure. I am feeling a moment where I'm coming. We were having this conversation before at Code Red about coming full circle. So I'm having a moment because again, this is someone that I kind of spent a lot of time with in my younger club days and hanging out. So I'm happy he's here and I'm happy to be able to do stuff. And I love the fact that he's doing so much stuff in the community and for himself. I wish you much success. Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming on the show. We absolutely adore you. I will always support you. And yeah, I'm ready to go to Italy in case anybody.
Right. I'm ready to go.
We can do that. So,
Fuck all of this.
but
We'll
thank you so much.
we'll
for
do
coming.
the show and then send it
Thank
to
you.
the producer, and then you're like, just play this from 8 to 9.
So listen. I'm so glad we had this time together. But we are going to close this show out, and we're going to say have a good evening and bye.
Bye. Mwah.